Hello and welcome to Little Birdie's Sports Show for a Monday First Look. I'm your host, Nikki Sylvester. Joining me today is MG for the wrap-up of the AFL home and away season, and we've also got Toprope on the line for NRL. First Look is proudly brought to you by Little Birdie TV, topsport.com.au, Punting Form and Manscaped for the very best in men's grooming. MG, throw it to you because we were at a big game yesterday.
Morning, Nikki. How are you? You're a little fired up this morning, so I'm just going to tread lightly with the carnage of your team, the Bombers, last week.
Yes.
You had come into the office with punching without gloves on, so duck and weave downstairs. But what a well, I'm going to describe it as more of a zoo going to the MCG yesterday. Carlton Collingwood supporters, they're interesting dynamic and individual species, but what was it, 88,000 in a game that obviously came down to a 1-point result, ending up in Carlton. Horrible way to miss out on finals. Last quarter they kicked 0 goals 6 to Collingwood 5 goals 1 after leading by plenty, and they made some horrendous errors in the last couple of minutes as well, being well highlighted. I'm not sure there's much worse in football than losing by a point to miss out on finals to one of your major adversaries.
No, I agree with that. And then I think, if you had a look at what it meant to the other clubs, like you could see the reaction from the Western Bulldogs. Everyone was watching them on the big screen and, what it meant to them to win. And amazing, like where they've come from for this year as well. But, I agree with you, Carlton. They'd have to have a really hard look at themselves after this. And, at one point they were Premiership favourite. Like people were saying they could win the flag, and then they've come to miss out on finals. Yeah. So,
from 8-2 earlier in the year, I think they were pretty much in the top 4 for most of it, and they were obviously in the 8 for all of the year to miss out by a point. In the the last goal of their season was horrible way to miss, because they certainly had their chances in the last quarter to put them away after an unbelievable third quarter. For those who haven't seen the match, they kicked 8 goals in the third quarter after being down by 4 at half time. So amazing swings. It was good to be there. Had plenty of Carlton and Collingwood supporters around me, and it was interesting dynamic to watch.
Yeah, and it just overshadows a little bit that Charlie Curnow's obviously won the Coleman, and the season hasn't finished where they want. So look, that's bittersweet for them, and obviously they'll have to do a bit of work on the off season and figure out where they go for 2023. But Toprope, you've got what you wanted. You got a little bit of a coach sacking. It may not be your code, but you did get a coach sacking, so I'm pretty sure you'd be happy with that.
Very exciting, Nikki. Look, I'm just thinking it must have been pretty wild at the MCG yesterday if it was a zoo in the glass-fronted corporate hospitality, probably with the president where the great Mark Goodwill was sitting. I can't imagine what it was like in the outer with the hoi polloi, so it must have been real wild there. Look, it's great. Look, I'll be honest, I've not enjoyed a weekend of AFL more. Didn't watch a single play, but enjoyed a coach being sacked, not being sacked, the treatment of some guy called Alistair Clarkson like he's Craig Bellamy or Wayne Bennett, and then players crying on a field. It's unbelievable, an unbelievable advertisement for the AFL.
When you caption it like that, it's probably not the best week for the AFL. Okay, looking back, they're probably going to sit there and go, geez, okay, Toprope's right. But on Friday night, I was up in Brisbane and I was sitting there, I was thinking, geez, the two Melbourne played Brisbane in both codes, and geez, Melbourne flogged them in both codes. So,
Another example of
I knew you were going to say that.
The sporting capital there, Toprope. Did you note that down? 2 Melbourne dominations on a Friday night.
Well, Toprope's happy because he's the Storm's biggest supporter.
And they're back.
Very happy. Very happy.
Yeah. Toprope jumped off the Storm ship about 4 weeks ago, and now he's swum quite fast freestyle to get back on the boat now.
Absolutely,
truly up and about.
I was last one off and first one back on though, MG. Don't forget that. So I stuck with him a long way into that losing streak. Look, the Broncos are falling apart, but more just a continuation of Melbourne's complete and utter dominance of the Broncos. They've now won 29 of 33, 12 on the shot, put 60 on them. Broncos' worst ever score conceded for a once proud club. So a pretty brutal loss there for them. And Melbourne, really hitting form at the right time of year. Penrith, no Nathan Cleary, no Luai, looking a little bit shaky at the moment. Might be there to be got, and maybe the Storm are there to get them.
Can you run me through the golf? Did you watch the golf this morning?
I did watch the golf this morning. It was a bit disappointing. I just can't get into Patrick Cantlay. He won again. He's looking for back-to-back FedEx Cup wins. He's just, it's you'd think the playoffs, much like a grand final in other sports, would kind of be building up to something bigger. The deeper these playoffs get, the less appealing they are. It was a pretty stacked leaderboard, probably not surprisingly, but Cantlay, Schauffele and Scheffler all in the mix there with Scotty Stallings, but Patrick Cantlay was just too good. His iron game was too good and fixed up some putting woes from yesterday, and did enough to win the BMW Championship. So 1 week to go, onwards and upwards to Eastlake and the Tour Championship, where we'll start with the staggered scoring system that drives every golf bettor mad.
And the NRLW had its first round over the weekend as well.
Well, the girls are unreal. They put 38 on the Eels, and they could have put 50 on with some decent kicking. Sam Bremner back after missing the last season through pregnancy. She was unreal in her club debut. She had 3 try assists. Isabel Kelly, outstanding. She new captain of the Roosters, scored a double. Unreal for them. Newcastle didn't win a game last year, knocked off the all-conquering Broncos. Some great recruitment there. They pinched Co-Dalian medal winner Millie Boyd, and absolutely real. 17-year-old Jessie Southwell made her debut for the club, scored a try in the 5th minute, and is going to be an absolute star of the future. For her to do what she did at 17 years old, had to get the Joseph Soali exemption there. And the Dragons, they thumped the Titans in another free-flowing game. And for all you bettors out there, all you punters, you want to be betting the overs in these ones. I don't think the lines are getting nearly big enough at the moment. So totals were way too low in week 1, and we're going to see them, I dare say, again in week 2, going to be way too low. The standard just continues to improve. It's great footy to watch, and the points flowed in every game.
Thanks there, Toprope. Okay, the overs, punters, you can take the tip there. Now, let's recap the AFL last round of the season. All right, Melbourne, they beat Brisbane 115-57. Fremantle beat the GWS 89-69. The Gold Coast beat the Kangaroos 114-47. Geelong beat West Coast 131-46. Richmond beat Essendon 141-75. Port Adelaide beat Adelaide 111-55. The Western Bulldogs beat Hawthorn 87-64. Collingwood beat Carlton 75-74. And Sydney beat St Kilda 88-74. MG, over to you.
Bit like the looking at the NRL results, they were so one-sided, which Toprope will cover shortly, but the AFL was not far behind them either. They had some smashings this week. I know it's the last round going in, and plenty of teams, nothing to play for, but we kicked off Friday night with a very good match. Melbourne and Brisbane on paper anyway going in, and Brisbane walk away shaking their heads. Another opportunity missed.
Never in it. Never in it.
No, never in it. Got killed. Your side, or your second side, Melbourne, who you've put a line through about 6 or 7 weeks ago. They're certainly back, and we'll have a look at the Premiership market a bit later. But I just think, even though they've got to play Sydney coming up week 1 of the finals, I really think Melbourne should be favourites now to win. I'm not saying that to wind you up, because as I said, I never want to wind you up, Nikki, but I just think they've turned the corner, Melbourne. Their forward line certainly worries me, but I just think everything outside their forward 50 is as good as it can get. And if they end up playing Geelong on the MCG in the last dance, I know who would rather be on. So it'll be interesting to see how the next month plays out. But Melbourne are back, and Brisbane, I'm not sure where they're at now. I just think their body of work over the last 3 or 4 years, they keep finishing top 4, keep having the chances. Every time a big match comes up, they basically shit the bed, unfortunately. So I'm not sure where they go now. And I think Richmond have drawn them for week 1 of the finals, even though it's up in Brisbane. It'll be a cracking match, and I think Richmond are pretty happy to draw that marble. So Brisbane will be under pressure and at home. They'll be interesting to see. We'll cover that probably Thursday's show that we'll be doing it now. The rest of the matches, Freo had to win going into GWS, and they were down 5 goals at one stage. So they were very disappointing first half, but they showed good composure, worked their way back in, end up getting a solid victory. So they were going with some confidence there. Freo, Gold Coast Kangaroos, we don't need to talk about that match, had no bearing. Geelong absolutely smashed West Coast. Unfortunately, gave a bit of Ric Flair to Toprope last week. Thought they might win by 100. They pulled up stumps and didn't quite get there, winning by 85. But it was a domination. Richmond were unbelievable against Essendon. They were really awesome. I know Essendon had little to play for, had an horrendous week, and the emotional energy, as we said, would have gone out of them. I thought Richmond were a decent play going in, got the job done, won very easily. The showdown, the other game on Saturday night, Port Adelaide did the job, was very keen on Port Adelaide from early in the week. Couldn't believe the price that they first went up. 9 and 10 was posted early. They closed into the 20s and did the job, especially in the second half. They were awesome, Port. So disappointing end to Port Adelaide's year, but going forward, I think they've got the nucleus to bounce back and make the final 8 next year. The Bulldogs, Hawks, again, Hawthorn gave it right up to the Bulldogs. Bulldogs had to win to make the finals, and they were in trouble for the first half of the game for sure. Just got the job done late. So, and as we know, they went on now and fill the 8th spot. So they deserved to be there. Yep. They had to win, even though they got a bit lucky with Carlton losing by a point. They end up being in the 8th spot and now travel to Freo to play. So they'll give themselves a chance against Freo. They're very inconsistent. So Bulldogs will give themselves a chance. We've already covered this match, Collingwood v Carlton. Unbelievable finish. I think the Collingwood supporters at halftime were enjoying their beers and enjoying their lunch. Not so much at three-quarter time. There was a few Collingwood supporters around me that were very down. Had to pick them back up and said, listen, your year so far, you've had so many close games. This will be a close finish. And sure enough, it came down to a 1-point victory. So 7 of the last 8 matches now for Collingwood has been decided by less than 7 points. So, and they've won them all. So a crazy year, regardless of what happens in the playoffs. I think as a, if you're a Collingwood supporter, you've enjoyed the run, especially the back end of the season. And Sydney, again, had to battle hard against St Kilda to make their top 4 spot as well. So, the Sunday played out, even though they all won. They didn't have it all their own way. And, it was a pretty exciting finish. I think the last month of AFL has been pretty exciting. The AFL couldn't have had it much better. So we've got our final 8 teams and we will review them in depth on Thursday. And then obviously we've got next week as well. So with the bye week, we have, NRL will get all the attention for a week, which will be unusual. So hopefully.
What do you mean? It's amazing. I'm going to take you to an NRL game on Friday night. You can have a great time.
Yeah, Toprope will be happy. We're going to see the Storm.
And the Chooks.
On what night is it? Friday.
Friday night.
Yeah. So
we can have a great time.
Toprope will supply us the winners, so hopefully that'll pay for the beers.
Yep. All right, let's just have a quick look at the bookie wrap. Okay. So 8 out of 9 faves, 6 of 9 covers, 5 of 9 over totals, and 2 of 9 home teams. And for the season, we finished 72% of faves, 52% of covers, 55% over totals, and 60% for the home teams.
Yeah, so one of the rare punters weeks, I would have thought, overall. I think the bookies would have struggled to win this week, with the only favourite not winning was Melbourne, who were just outsiders going into the Brisbane game. So I think the bookies would have had a pretty tough week overall, which would have been a rare occurrence for them.
They would have won on the horses, like you said, but gave it all back on the sport.
They always win on the horses. It's a complete fill-up. But, just the season stats. Yeah. So we normally use 70 as a benchmark for winning favourites, whether they win or lose. So they've finished up 72, so it's probably just gone in the punters' favoured there. But as you can see, the cover's close to 50%. So, it's very difficult to pick the line, and it's, the plus and the minus are being very even. Slightly shading to the over for the year at 55%. So if you pick and choose through the overs, you've had a good win, and the home rate only at 60%, which is low side. So home ground advantage hasn't been as strong as it normally is. But very good season so far.
Thanks, MG. Okay, now let's have a look at the stings, because here we go. So we had round 23, 5 out of 6, and you had 15.5 units bet and you won 9.51 units. And can I just say, on Monday, you declared Collingwood. You took them in your charity bet. You had 3 units on them, and they didn't disappoint. And for the season, 58 to 43, you've had 253 units bet. You're up 28.05 units, and that's an 11.08% return. Doing good, mate.
Yeah, trying to keep pace with Toprope. The 1-2 punch is going okay for us at the moment. As I said, trying to keep up with Toprope. But this week, this week coming in, really kicked it off Sunday night into Monday morning, certainly up and about early. So unfortunately, we didn't start that well. We did get our chips in with the best of it, 172. I think it might have even opened 170. It closed in the 180s. So even though we just had some poor kicking at times, it cost it, which often is the outcome whether you get a close total. But, you got our chips in, but unfortunately lost that. The Port Adelaide one fell over the line there. You can see it's come down close to 166 on a 164 total. So we got that. Was very keen on Port Adelaide for the entire week going forward. Minus 10.5. I think it closed 22. So really got our chips in well there. And as you can see, they won by 56. So that was a pretty easy watch. The Bulldogs got the job done. Pulled away late, so I was pretty happy with that. Again, chips in, betting early sometimes pays off, minus 10.5. I think it closed 17 or 18 there, so that was a good win. Collingwood fell over the line, so it was kind of, we doubled up on the Collingwood line. We went again on the Sunday morning. We got some information. I'm not sure how early it was to the rest of the market, but the market didn't react quick enough with Walsh coming out for Carlton. So once that was confirmed, we got a free shot, probably for the best part of about 1 to 2 hours on the bookies, I think. So Collingwood ended up starting 3 and 4 point favourites there. So pretty happy with. Even though we fell in, I was pretty happy with the way the punting week went.
And that's why you got the AFL stings. You get all the info, buddy. That's it. That's why you're going to beat the bookies. All right. Now let's have a look at the Premiership market. Geelong 290, Melbourne 320, Sydney 6, Collingwood 9, Richmond 11, Freo 17, Brisbane 31, and the Western Bulldogs at 34.
Yeah, so we have our final 8 teams. Yes. Obviously, Geelong and Melbourne, the 1 and 2 seeds, so they get home ground advantage. And if they win, they go straight through to the prelims. So understand why they dominate the betting there at about $3 each of 2. Still happy with Sydney, my ticket. I know they've got to come to Melbourne in the MCG, and it'll be a big game. And I think the winner's going to come from that side. I think if Melbourne beats Sydney and go through, I think they're going to be the team to beat going forward. And if Sydney manage to come to Melbourne and knock them off in the MCG, then I think Sydney are beyond the real deal and a real chance to go all the way. Of the value, if I was going to have one pick from outside the top 3, I think Richmond. I like the way Richmond's going, $11. I think they've drawn a pretty good marble going up to Brisbane to play them. The unfortunate thing, you've got to win 4 games in a row, so it's going to be tough. Yep. But if they can get over Brisbane the first week and then they come to the MCG, it's not going to be away. So even though they've got to win 4 in a row, they'll be playing a lot of Melbourne-based sides going through. So I just like the way Richmond are going. I think, as long as Lynch is okay, I think the value would be Richmond. But, I'm happy with my ticket on Sydney, and I think now Melbourne are the team to beat.
All right, there we go. Melbourne we're going to take that all the way to the big dance. Okay, the AFL Brownlow medal. Lachie Neale is $3, Clayton Oliver $3.90, Brayshaw $6, Patrick Cripps $6, Petrarca $7, Tuke Miller $8, and then you've got Sam Walsh at $34 and Callum Mills at $48.
Yeah, it's a big finish to the week. I think Oliver is in the votes for the last round. Yeah. So I think he puts himself in, and I think Cripps is going to partake in votes as well. So he puts his name back into the ring. I think there's genuine chances here. I think looking at it, I think Neil may be a false favourite in this. So I think he'll drift from the $3 mark. In the next month we've got a lot of work leading up to the Brownlow, but I think it'll get out to more $3.50 range, and I think there's some genuine chances. This is going to be an exciting Brownlow count, a bit like last year. If you remember, we had good 3 or 4 chances going through. Yep. This one will be exciting as well because Brayshaw is definitely in with a chance for Freo. He's been awesome this year. They've finished top 4, and they're finished 5th, but he's got no opposition. Whereas Oliver's got Petrarca and the 2 Carlton boys going at it. And Miller's a bit of a wild card because Gold Coast have missed the 8, but he has been a standout for their side. So, it's going to be an exciting Brownlow count.
Oh, I can't wait. Monday, the 19th of September, Brownlow night, and I'm looking forward to what you're going to put out for the Brownlow. Okay, punters, he has had a great end to the season. He's on fire, and you need the AFL Stings, and you can get that in the Little Birdie Live TV shop from $22 a week. AFL Stings, $22 a week. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with Toprope for the NRL. Welcome back to First Look, proudly brought to you by topsport.com.au. Family owned and operated for over 35 years. Bet with a bookie you can trust. Bet with TopSport. Okay, let's get into it and check out the round 23 results for the NRL. Penrith, they beat South 26-22. North Queensland beat the Warriors 48-4. Melbourne, they beat Brisbane 60-12. Parramatta beat the Bulldogs 42-6. Cronulla, they beat Manly 40-6. The Roosters beat the West Tigers 72-6. St George beat the Gold Coast 46-26. And Canberra, they beat Newcastle 28-22. Toprope, there were some absolute shellackings.
Oh, there was some smash-up jobs for sure. If you like points, this is the weekend for you. I prayers for any unders punters out there. It was a week of absolutely. It was a historic week, actually. It was the highest scoring round when there's been 8 games or fewer in the history of the Premiership. So, astonishingly, start with the Roosters shellacking of the Tigers, 72-6. That's the 5th highest score of all time, 72 points. And making it even more astonishing, the Roosters scored 1 try in the first 20 minutes. It seriously looked like in that second half they might put on 80 for the first time in nearly 85 years. It was that diabolical from the Tigers. We saw a cracking game. To open the round, South and Penrith. Penrith got the job done 26-22. South completely threw it away with Jackson Paulo having one of the great stinkers of all time. It was one of the foulest individual performances of all time. The club's come out since, and he's received death threats, and they're all getting behind him. But he should have been hooked a long time into that. He was abhorrent, and it wasn't just spilling balls; it was a distinct lack of effort. That kind of didn't do him any favours with the fans either. So probably cost South a chance at the top 4 there. So disappointing there for the Bunnies in the game they should have won. But after that, the smash-ups began. Cowboys beat the Warriors 48-4. It's the only point of note there was that went over the early total, under the 52.5 closing. So disappointing there for overs punters there. And the 52 was scored. The Storm absolutely annihilated the Broncos, their worst ever loss, 60-12. Wild stuff for a team inside the 8. This isn't a team that's kind of given up on the season. The Storm just absolutely throttled at home a team who's inside. That's 12 straight wins for the Storm over the Broncos now. And the psychological edge they've got over Brisbane is something to behold. Parramatta beat the Dogs 42-6, another one-sided affair. Mitchell Moses returned with a broken finger. Just dominant. Dylan Brown, fantastic. Moses, fantastic. Not so fantastic for those on the closing total in this one, 48.5. Moses missed a conversion from the sideline to send that over. Well done, unders punters there. Manly and the Sharks, aka the homophobes, hosting the Sharks. Sharks won 40-6, completely one-sided. It looked like it would be the first time in a long, long time that the Sea Eagles would be held to 0 at Brookvale. They managed to score a late intercept try to Daly Evans, but total one-sided game there. Pressure on Des Hasler now, including some club legends coming out and calling for his head. So interesting. We talked about the Roosters 72-6. Stunningly, that score flattered the West Tigers. They should have lost by a lot more. Dragons had to play a send-off late, beat the Titans 46-26. Another embarrassing defensive showing from the Titans. And we had a close game to finish the round. The Raiders came from behind, down 22 at halftime, beat the Knights 28-22 with a late try. But a low game. A lot of misconversions in that one. But the Raiders got the job done, but were hardly impressive against a Knights team that were essentially fielding a reserve grade side.
Thanks, Toprope. Okay, now we're going to have a look at the bookie wrap. 7 out of 8 faves, 6 of 8 covers, 4 of 8 over totals, and 4 of 8 for the home teams. And for the season, 70% of faves, 51% of covers, 53% over totals, and 59% for the home teams.
Yeah, the only kind of point of note here is that the bookies have really reacted to some of the high scoring game. And we're seeing totals back up in the 50s again over the last couple of weeks, which we had kind of gone down markedly early in the year. So, and we had, I think, 2 or 3 games made up over 70 points on the weekend. So, the scoring's kind of getting real loose now, and you're probably going to see it over the next couple of weeks as well. I can't really see it going down with the gulf between the good and the bad teams only widening up even further.
Now we're going to have a look at the GGOA. Okay, so for round 23, we've got 3 of 4. You had 13 units bet and you won 3.45 units. Now for the season, 65 and 56, 307.5 units bet. You're up 52.56 units, and that is a 17.09% return. It is amazing stuff.
Yeah, plenty of action for the punters. We like having a bet you. If those subscribers are not going to be left having one bet a week, we're going to get you there. And some good results. Look, we've gone well. We've hit a little hot streak here. The Cowboys Warriors total went over, and again, look, an early indication bet early on these ones. Don't wait till the end. That closed 52.5. You lost if you bet late there. Storm bet -4.5. They jumped -8, won by 48. Never in doubt there. Very, very, very stiff on the Manly Cronulla game. 46.5, finished 46. Still crying into the beer over that one. It's George -4.5. Got close in the middle of the second half, ran away late, 1 by 20. So, look, we're going well, and not too late to subscribe. We've still got a couple of weeks of action, and then some finals footy.
Thanks, Toprope. I can't wait. It's going to be a couple of great weeks to see out the NRL. Now, on Friday Lines is now going to be done on Thursday. So the boys are going to cover the Thursday night game, which will be Parramatta and the Broncos. So the boys will cover that on Thursday. Make sure you tune in because you're going to want to get that. Let's go to the NRL Premiership because Penrith, they are still 220. The Storm, though, 480. Cronulla, 8. North Queensland, 950. The Roosters, 10. South Sydney, 13. Paris, 17. And the Broncos, 51.
You're keen to take on the Panthers, but the Storm and Sharks pre-season, I'm more than happy with those tickets there. The Storm are really kind of warming into it. Look, they're going up against the good teams, but they're Ryan Pappenhausen, but they're starting to find their rhythm a lot more with Munster at fullback and Meany at 5'8" rather than the other way around. So, the Storm, they've got a big game against the Chooks this week. They get over the hump there and finish top 4. Yeah, be wary of the Storm.
Be wary of the Storm. Don't worry, we'll be there cheering from the sidelines. Okay, he is having an insane month. You need the GGOA, and you can get that in the Little Birdie Live TV shop from $22 a week. GGOA, we've still got 2 weeks of the NRL, and then we're going to have a jam-packed final season, and he's going to be all over it. Okay, MG, it's that time.
Your favourite time, the charity time. Yeah, we've been on fire, Nikki, haven't we? The last month or something's been crazy. So 3-0 for the week. For week 24, the results you can see on your screen now. So Collingwood fell over the line, got the result by a point there. So that was important back in the head-to-head. Toprope tipped the Sharks at -8.5. I think it might have closed around 13. So not only got the victory, you got your chips in early, and you tipped the Cowboys -18.5, switching back to the NRL. So great week again, 3-0, and I think we've gone 2 out of 3, 3-0, 2 out of 3, and 3-0. So the last month, worth following here if you get your early predictions here. So week 25 now we're up to, and unfortunately for myself, leading by 2, this is going to be Toprope's favourite time because I have to tip in the NRL this week. So Toprope will be looking to cut that lead down. But at the moment, I'm on 15 wins. Toprope's on 13 and Nikki's on 12. So it's a close contest. We're going to run through to the end of the NRL Grand Final. So I think we've got 5 or 6 weeks left to find a winner here. So for week 25, we'll go to Toprope first for Wayside Chapel. Who are you picking in the NRL this week, Toprope?
That sounds like some tears, MG. Seems to be really it's all right now. I hope that wasn't any crying. No, we're not previewing the Thursday game yet, but I can tell you right now we'll be chips in the Broncos. One of my favourite angles to bet is a home team off an embarrassing display, conceding 60 points certainly fills that criteria. I'll be chips in the Broncos.
Okay, so I think the market's there about 2.5. Top Sports haven't gone up on their prices right now, but the early market's out plus 2.5 there for Brisbane Broncos. Nikki, for Sids and Kids, NRL, you don't get a choice this week. What have you come up with?
Yeah, I'm going Cronulla -12.5 because I think they'll do a good job against the Bulldogs. And my second team up. I love the boys. I love the way they play, so we'll cheer them.
You are a fan of the Sharks, all right. For myself, my charity is Love Me, Love You, so I am going to go in the NRL this week, so be a bit wary of me tipping the NRL. I'll get a clip from Toprope if I miss this, but I'm just going to stick fat with the Panthers. I think they've got, we'll call it the bye week against New Zealand Warriors. So I know it's a big line, -20.5, but hopefully Toprope supports it. They play all their players and they get a good victory there, and I can keep my lead.
All right. Thanks, MG. Okay. I can't wait. It's going to come down to the wire. All right. That is a wrap for this edition of First Look. Remember, you can follow us on socials. We are on Twitter and Insta, Little Birdie TV. Remember, you can download our podcast everywhere you get your good podcast from. We're also on YouTube, so hit the subscribe button. Remember, Friday Lines is going to be on Thursday this time, so the boys will be back on Thursday to cover all the weekend action. And all your footy betting action is at topsport.com.au. We'll be back next week on Monday. Have a great week. Bye.